Cubs have played in November since 1945. So you can imagine that we're going to be really expedient and efficient with our meeting tonight. And I would like to ask Joseph Patrick to please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. I would like to let the record show that we have board members Carl Zaragoza, Ms. Amy McShaffrey, the clerk, myself, members of cabinet, Hilda Juarez are present tonight. And I'd like to get right to the welcoming statement. I want to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting and remind the audience of the request to address board cards that must be completed and submitted to the board secretary if they wish to speak to an agenda item. Board policy provides for 2 cards, white cards to be submitted in order to speak to an agenda item, and blue cards to be submitted in order to speak during public comments. Policy also states there is a 5-minute maximum time limit per speaker. Due to the open meeting law, board members are not allowed to address items that are not on the agenda. If you do not want to address the board but wish to give your comments in writing, you can do so on a goldenrod sheet, and all members will receive a copy. And that will take us to approval of agenda.
I move the governing board approve the agenda as presented.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. And then that will bring us to public comments. I have one blue card tonight from Dorothy Green about the bond.
All right, since November 8th is coming up fast and furious, this will be the last time, I know you're heartbroken, but I will be up here making our bond updates. I want to start with a humongous shout out to Yes for Creighton Kids PAC. They have done a fantastic job. I hope you all have noticed the beautiful signs that are out all over the entire district. They look fantastic, and they've done a great job with rallying people. They have lots of teenagers out walking that are from our district and from other parts that feed into our district. We also had a fantastic showing at a walk last weekend that lots of CEH Fund for Children people were there. Yes for Creighton Kids people were there. Other people from around the community. I saw just a wide range of people at that walk, and we got out and talked to a lot of voters. A little unfortunately, we found out that there is a little bit of negative paperwork or literature going out at this point. We aren't really sure where it's coming from because there's no disclaimer on it as to who is funding the No for Creighton bond literature, but we do know that it's out there, so we're aware of that. We're talking to voters about our message and just continuing to be positive when we talk to voters. Let's see what else. Oh, over fall break, because I know we canceled the last school board meeting, so I have a little bit more, but I'll be short. I know the Cubs are playing. We had over 7 people, seven and a half? No, there were 7 people who gave up time during their fall break to walk in the neighborhoods. Lots of phone banking going on. Both CEA, Fund for Children, and Yes for Creighton Kids are getting lots and lots of people out, and we're just very hopeful. We're very positive that we're gonna, get this thing passed and move forward with our plans. Thank you.
Thank you. And let the record show that Ms. Sexton Ruiz has joined the meeting. And that will take us to the superintendent report.
I'm very pleased tonight to announce a couple of recognitions for Creighton School District. Jenny Balthazar, primary teacher. Did I say it wrong?
Balthazar.
Balthazar. Thank you. I heard the group giggle all at once. So Balthazar. Mackin primary teacher has been recognized and will be recognized December 7th in Tucson at the OELLS conference as the 2016 runner-up Arizona ELL Teacher of the Year. So we'll give her a shout out right now. We're really excited about that. The whole Mackin team really is rallying around her and psyched about that. Secondly, on Friday, we were notified after submitting the Arizona Association of Latino Administrators and Superintendents. This organization has recognized 2 outstanding Latino Arizona school board members who have served predominantly Latino communities. And Mr. Carl Zaragoza was awarded this beautiful plaque. I want to show it to everybody here because he has been, he was determined by the Arizona Association of Latino Administrators and Superintendents as an outstanding board member, saying thank you for your leadership, time, and effort. And I want to read to you the nomination and why they selected him. Carl Zaragoza is a lifelong champion for children and a known leader in his community. He started his career in service with the United States Army and then served as a teacher in the primarily Hispanic Isaac School District. It was there that his passion for educational equity was sparked. Since his time in the classroom, Mr. Zaragoza has been a contributing writer to the Arizona Republic on education topics and worked with different Latino educators to grow them as leaders in their community. Now, as the Senior Director for the Leadership of Educational Equity, Mr. Zaragoza is a leading equity expert and a leading force behind the equity movement. As a new governing board member, Mr. Zaragoza held Creighton to a high standard, challenging Creighton leadership to raise expectations in terms of school days, increased rigor, and re-imaging partnerships with parents. Under his leadership, Creighton was able to accelerate academic achievement among Latino students. Now in his second term as governing board member, Mr. Zaragoza was the driving force behind the creation of equity-based governing board expectations to hold himself and his colleagues accountable. Under his leadership, he has advocated for cultural competencies and the hiring practices of new staff, foreign language immersion program available to students, and the realignment of suspension practices to ensure there was not a disproportionate number of suspensions by ethnicity. He also supported the participation of the superintendent and 5 staff members at a 2-week Spanish immersion program in Querétaro, Mexico, to better their understanding of the Hispanic culture and language. The Creighton Latino community has benefited greatly by having Carl Zaragoza as a governing board member. So our congratulations to Mr. Carl Zaragoza. Make sure you do that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
That's all for the superintendent today.
All right, that takes us to governing board reports. Well, Mr. Zaragoza, do you have anything to report?
So I'll share how meaningful it is to me to have received this award for this work. Growing up, like I don't know that my parents ever recognized the power they have. We moved not just from school to school, but state to state, and looking for better economic opportunities, educational opportunities, and like I just don't know that my parents even really get that. You know, I've kind of said Creighton's my community. I chose it. It wasn't born here, but I've chosen to be here and to be in a position where I help raise those voices of our community members is really special. And then, you know, like we can run our mouths as much as we want as a school board, but that we have talented staff to help operationalize a lot of these ideas. I don't know that I've ever received anything as meaningful. So thank you. Thanks for our partnership. And as we all know, like one board member doesn't make the difference. It's our team. And I really appreciate this governing board team. Second point. When I campaigned my last term, I definitely talked about educational excellence. I talked about equity. But I also talked a lot about our community, and I wanted to not just have schools that we think are good, but that our community says these are the schools that we want. I actually had explicit conversations about creating the schools that we want, not like what the state says is a good school, but what is the composition, what is the program, what are the standards that we care about in our schools. And there are 2 examples over the last couple of weeks that kind of make me feel like we're building something special here. I think it was Friday, I went to the Biltmore Prep Carnival, and just to see the enthusiasm on a Friday night at a school, The kids were having fun, but the parents were having fun. And there are other folks that I've met throughout the years and teachers, some teachers who were from that school and others who just wanted to hang out. That was like weird but cool. So I just felt like there was this really amazing community feel. And then when I showed up on Saturday morning in my private capacity, not with the board, for the bond, to see, I don't know, 25-ish people, 46 people, right? It wasn't even the number, it was just that there was like, CEA was there, or CEA Fund, the PAC, whatever. The CEA folks, they were teachers. There was the Yes for Creighton PAC folks, but there were community partners, parents, a couple kids. Like, it was just like this really interesting cross-section of community members who wanted to come out as volunteers to like talk to neighbors about why they should pay taxes for our schools. Like, that is awesome. So anyway, I'm really excited for the future of our district. Really appreciate everyone who puts all their effort into all this work. And again, I just feel really blessed to be a part of it.
Ms. Sexton Rice, do you have a governing board report?
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. I was able to attend on the 18th, I believe it was, the first day of the Creighton dinner with my son, and I met with many parents there, and spoke with them about how they feel about school. A lot of them discussed some of their concerns with me for their children, and many of them were Spanish speaking, and we were able to communicate, so it was really nice to make those connections. I also attended, as some other board members, the Greater Green Gables Neighborhood Association meeting, which was wonderful. It's just a wonderful neighborhood association meeting, or neighborhood association, with a very active leader, Abraham James, who really pulls his whole community together. It was a really nice evening. Also, the ASBA County Awards Dinner was a week ago yesterday, and I was the only Creighton school board member to attend. I did receive an award for Masters of Boardmanship for 84 hours of professional development, so that was kind of neat. We also did vote on our new county president, I believe, and I think it was Larry Herrera was voted for, so I was able to vote as a member of the Creighton team. And lastly, today I had the opportunity to visit the Biltmore Prep Academy Planetarium. I went in for the Spanish language class, and it was incredible. This planetarium is something that I witnessed for the first time at the National School Board conference in Boston, and it's a large blow-up kind of tent, and the kids get to go inside it. A whole class can fit inside it, depending on what size you have, what size of tent you have. And there's a kind of a computer-driven, machine in the middle that projects the whole nighttime sky. It can actually play many, many different types of programs. It's very beneficial for teachers, and it's something that I remember at the conference I was telling other board members, hey, go see it, and as well as Dr. Lewis. And I got a bunch of information for it and brought it back to the district. But what was neat, I spoke with the woman who is bringing it. She's from ASU, and she said that they've got a grant where they can lend it out to different schools, and it's $100 to have it for 2 weeks. A teacher can go and take the training and figure out how to use this thing, which it isn't too hard, and then have it for 2 weeks for $100, which I thought was a pretty good deal. She said that it used to be free, but the grant that they had that was actually paying that $100 kind of ran out. So we're going to keep in touch about that if she finds other grants or things like that. I'm actually do a lot with space and earth
Center of Science at ASU. On my own time, I do a lot with them. So, and I have a friend who's a doctor there. So that was really cool watching the whole planetarium thing. And the class was, I think it was third graders, and it was in Espanol. So it was really fun. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McSheffrey?
Yeah, I participated in a webinar, I guess, about transgender kids, and basically I just want to let everyone know that there are resources out there, and I have a feeling, just statistically, that we probably have some kids that fall into this situation, so it very likely will come up in the future, and I've shared some of it with Dr. Lewis, and I know there are resources, so if, until something is kind of, they suggest creating a team to kind of delve into it and figure out what best practices are with handling stuff. Privacy is a huge issue, but also protecting the kids because they're just, they get bullied, the suicide rate is really high, and so it's important that everybody's kind of aware of the different resources that are out there, but there's tons of resources out there. And also, I just want to say I'm so inspired and impressed with the turnout on Saturday for the support for the Creighton, just Creighton support. So it was awesome. I was thrilled to be a part of it.
And I don't have anything to report tonight, so that will take us to the score is 7-0. Yeah, and the Cubs are winning, by the way.
Yeah.
Bottom of the third. All right, so that takes us to approval of consent.
I need a motion.
I move the governing board approve consent agenda items A through M in accordance with policy BBEB-R.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Wow, okay, so that takes us all the way down to business and plant number 9A. Did I miss anything? No, that's it, right? The update and approval of KT's kids, and that will be, Ms. Meg Hartog.
Good evening, Madam President, board members, and cabinet. I do have a PowerPoint, but I know we want to be brief tonight. So Hilda does have it if you do want to.
We may just move to the motion. Sorry.
We look forward to continuing our partnership with the Creighton District. I know that this year with our strategic goals, it really does fit in beautifully with what we're doing. And so I'm hoping that we will continue our partnership and grow this year to even include more staff and more students in providing those scholarship funds. And we look forward to our first college scholarship being given out in 2018. So far, in the last few years, we've given scholarships out to 36 students, and we intend to keep giving out 18 scholarships per year. So
That's a really big deal. And KT hired me, but we only worked together doing curriculum work because she was already sick when I came to Gateway first. So I do think that this mission and vision that we crafted as, as a community is something that she would be extremely proud of. So thank you.
So if you have any questions.
And can we get a copy of the work you did on the PowerPoint?
Sure.
Okay.
It's in the board doc. There's one slide that has been changed since that was sent to you, and that is we have a date. So save the date, March 4th. It's a Saturday, 8 o'clock. We'd love to see as many of you out there as you can possibly make it. That's good. Yeah, it's a Saturday. We've listening to the people, and I said, please make it a Saturday.
And not up against spring break.
Not up against spring break.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's a good day. Any other questions?
Thank you. All right, that takes us to,
It's an action. It's an action. We need a motion to.
I'm sorry, I was
approve
looking at the wrong one. All right,
I move the governing board approve KT's kids to conduct events and raise funds outside and within the district on behalf of Creighton School District students for the 2016-17 school year.
A second?
it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? All right, now, 9B. Bond update and capital planning, I think that's Ms. Megan.
Okay, you want to give us an introduction?
Yeah, and actually, we've got a brief presentation that we'll watch, but we'll keep it brief, so. But I do have two special guests with us this evening. Megan Burke from RBC Capital is joining us as our bond counsel. She'll be sharing some information. And then Dustin Kamak, I'm just gonna butcher it, and trying to do a good job with it, who's from Gus Rosenfeld, our legal counsel. Who's also been assisting us with all of the legalities around the bond pamphlets and information. So I'm going to jump up and launch the presentation for you.
Thanks, Jay. Madam President, board members, Dr. Lewis, thanks for having us here tonight. Just to further build on what Mr. Van mentioned, it came to the district's attention that there was an error in the voter information pamphlet that was published and sent out to district residents. And so we thought it would be prudent to bring to the board as well as the community the error that was contained in the voter information pamphlet and to talk about the changes that have occurred as a result of that. My name is Megan Burke, as Jay mentioned. I'm with RBC Capital Markets, and we help to prepare all the tax rate information that goes into the voter information pamphlet. I'm not an attorney, so we need Dustin to be here. He's with Gus Rosenfeld. In the event a legal question came up, he can answer from a statutory perspective. So it came to, as I mentioned, it came to the district's attention that there was an error in the growth rate that was assumed in the voter information pamphlet. And as a result, we wanted to get information out there. At the time that the error was discovered, we were in a time period that prevented us, because the voter information pamphlets had already been mailed and published, to have those corrected. And so what the district, through discussions with legal counsel, thought the most prudent, district administration and staff thought the most prudent thing to do would be to publish that on the district's website. And so in a public meeting, we wanted that to become aware to voters that that information is out there, and to direct you where that information may be. So just real quick, a couple bullet points I think that are helpful to make clear and available to district residents is that it is the district's administration, it is their strong desire, and it is something that they spend a lot of time on to make sure that there is not an increase in the tax rate. That's very important to them, and so we wanted to make that clear that the secondary tax rate right now is 3.4709, which pays for existing voter approved overrides and M&Os for both M&O and capital, as well as the existing bonds that are in place. With the passage of the proposed bonds that are here, the district is committed to maintaining that overall secondary tax rate. Primary is a different thing, but overall secondary tax rate. And so we want to make that clear, and we'll show that in the next couple of slides. And here's the website, the link to the website, or the web address, where the revised information can be found on the district's website. So published on the website is the existing voter information pamphlet, as well as the revised documents, and I'll go over the changes in the documents now. This is the original voter information pamphlet information that shows the $85 million in bond projects, how those are broken down between non-administrative and administrative purposes, and then even further broken down between construction, furniture, fixture, equipment, whatnot, and the tax rate associated with those projects, for a total combined average tax rate that was published in the voter information pamphlet of 1.4096. This is the debt service repayment schedule that is estimated. So when we prepare these documents, everything is based on estimates. We don't know what the current, or we don't know what the tax the interest rate will be at the time we issue bonds. We don't know what the average, the actual growth rate will be in your assessed value. So all of this is built on assumptions. The voter information pamphlet that was published, again, you'll see it's circled in red that 1.4096 tax rate there, and the repayment schedule. The error that was discovered is in the projected value for tax purposes column on the left-hand side, just to the right of the fiscal year. The growth assumptions that were in that model. This is the revised table that is, like I said, published on the website at the web address that's posted there. I think it's actually when you're on the main page, if you go under news, it's under the news publication. So if you click on news, then there'll be a section just for this. This is the revised, again, the $85 million, the non-administrative and administrative purposes projects have not changed. The dollar amounts have not changed, just the calculation of the tax rate has changed. You'll now see the new tax rate is, average tax rate is 1.3089, actually a reduction. The revised repayment schedule, you'll see we've assumed for conservative purposes, because the error was discovered, we wanted to be as conservative as possible in working with district staff and administration, so we assumed a no growth model. That no growth model lowers the tax rate but does extend out the repayment of the bonds for a few years. But again, 1.3089 is the revised tax rate. Again, as I mentioned, and this is where Dustin could be helpful in case any questions arise, the repayment schedule will be based on actual financial conditions, again, because the model that we build is at a certain given point in time assumes various assumptions that obviously change as present day presents itself. And here is a statute reference regarding the fact that, variations between estimates required by subsection A of the section, and when they're referring to subsection A of the section is Title 35, Chapter 3, Article 3, addresses the fact that actual debt retirement schedules, issuance costs, annual and total costs, and tax rates shall not invalidate either the bonds or the election. So with that.
If I could just kind of build on that a little bit, the group that actually brought the concerns forward, there was actually 3 concerns that were brought forward related to language in the pamphlet and the calculations, was the Arizona Tax Research Association. And so they were not the only ones that they looked at their numbers. I talked to a counterpart in Madison who received similar type of call for different reasons. And so they're in the habit of doing these types of reviews. We had a long and extended conversation with them, which was relatively amicable at its conclusion, and they felt that, or at least it appeared that they felt at the end of the conversation that what we were doing to address it was adequate, and we felt that it was important to come before the board as well as publish the information to the website, because really our goal, and I know the board's goal and the administration reflects that, is maximum transparency. And so this is an attempt to make certain that we maintain that maximum transparency.
Any questions? Go ahead.
So as a layman here, and the concerns that I hear, like what I hear you saying, and that you're double checking all the numbers, is when it comes to the tax rate, if the bond passes, as we said as a board, we are committed to not raising the tax rate, and we will have access to $85 million for capital expenditures, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so, and there are crazy people out there, but maybe they're right. So I just want to make sure I'm saying the right thing. When they say my taxes went up, and say, and that this is a disguise, we can say actually, like, the tax rate's going to stay the same. Maybe your taxes are going up for
The purpose of the assessed value going up.
right, like your property value went up, or someone else raised your taxes because you're paying all your taxes in one lump sum.
Correct.
Okay, that's all I need personally. Thank you.
And again, just to clarify for layman's sake, because the calculation that came into question was actually higher than the reality. It went down, correct?
Correct.
Which, great, good news, I feel.
We're grateful for the question.
Anybody else have any other questions, comments, concerns?
You want to add any insight?
No, just that we've looked at this issue. The Arizona law builds in the fact that the secondary tax rate on bonds, that tax rate isn't something that the voters are approving anyway. They're approving the total amount, and that if there are any issues, that in order to keep that commitment, you can always fight the issue. What the voters are approving is the maximum amount of the bond that can be issued. They're not approving any of these charts. These are all estimates that are for the voters' information, and there's no materially misleading anybody. It's total transparency, as was mentioned. And so there are no legal issues with that.
So then just to be a little more explicit, James, Dustin, sorry.
His equally as capable colleague could not make it.
So that we published the wrong, something wrong, is there legal ramifications? Because I think maybe there was a threat that they were trying to validate the election if it passes. What are the legal challenges we have ahead of us if the election is successful next Tuesday?
Well, in short, there shouldn't be many. I mean, anyone can bring a lawsuit challenging the election for any reason. In our estimation, such a lawsuit would be have a minuscule chance of succeeding because we have this sort of security blanket in Title 35 that says that any of these estimates, and to be clear, what was provided in the voter pamphlet, voter information pamphlet, were simply estimates. What is being approved is that amount. Okay. And so because what is on the ballot there's no question that is on the issue, and there's no attempt to mislead anybody, especially. So what I'm saying is that there are no other avenues that we can think of that would be successful challenge for this.
And if I could jump in, just so you guys know, it is and correct me if I'm wrong, Dustin, but I was told it's a 5-day window that people have to challenge the election. Right. So if when we get 5 days past the election date, we'll know whether anyone has issued a challenge to the election. Not that we're expecting one, but I think it's helpful for us to be aware of that 5-day window.
Okay, 5 days from November 8th, from the day they certify, from the day that they calculate them, but because I know when they count all these other numbers, it's December 1st before the dust is settled.
So I've got to be honest with you, this is my first election as a bond attorney. I did a different area of law before, and we can look into that. If you're curious, we can send that information for the next meeting. Of course, by then, that window will have passed. But yes.
Maybe. Okay.
Well,
We'll just follow up with Jay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to item 10A. Want to take this one up, Luce?
Yes, ma'am. We examined several of the awards, and it's been a delight to say we've submitted ourselves just to, the recognition Creighton deserves. And in reviewing the Arizona School Boards Association Annual Award, we're very pleased with the work of Emily Wazalik and what she's been doing. And we put together a nomination packet for Ms. Donna Young for being the ASBA All Arizona School Board Member Award. I think what was so really amazing about it and why it's before you tonight is sometimes we put in for awards and it's kind of under the radar and it happens or it doesn't. This particular one does require the board's approval to show solidarity behind the nomination. I also would like to add that in addition to a letter that I wrote about her historical perspective, contributions, efforts at harmony, efforts at education, both. We had a letter of nomination and recommendation from Suzanne, help me. Schweikman, my apologies, Suzanne, who, it was an active leader in the community for years and years, and also a president of ASBA, and she put her whole heart endorsement behind Donna Young's nomination. And additionally, Carl Young wrote, psychology, what's the score? What's the score? 7-1. Mr. Carl Zaragoza. It's gonna be one of those nights. Also wrote a letter of recommendation. And it was interesting because the comments that I think are gonna be so powerful is that this nomination is considered is that it's from multiple perspectives to include when we healthily not always agree on items. And I think that's a beautiful story about what makes this board so powerful and so willing to take risks, is that you are each about the whole child and the whole health of the community. So while the second thing I'm about to say doesn't require board approval, we've also put you in for board of the year as the whole governing board. So I will share the write-up with you later on that one. But the agenda item for tonight is why we nominated Ms. Donna Young, and we need a motion for that nomination.
And in fact, before we vote, if I can add, this award, it's not just like ASBA gives out a number of different awards. Like this one is their, like the highest award that the Arizona School Board Association offers to an individual board member. And although Ms. Young and I actually think we mostly see eye to eye on a lot of things, but our avenues to get there are radically different and like incredibly infuriating at times. But I have the utmost respect for what she brings, the perspective, and at the end of the day, just like, just even after we've gotten all the information we need, just she keeps asking the same question over and over, and it forces me to really be clear about what I want and how I'm going to vote and what are the potential implications for the action. So I encourage you all to vote yes, so we can move the award nomination forward. So with that, I'd like to move that the governing board approve the nomination of Ms. Donna Young for the ASBA All Arizona School Board Award.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
We wanted to note that we did this without her here on purpose.
She would absolutely love this. So,
yeah.
So, like, she would
All
be
about
so
me
comfortable right now and happy about this, so it worked out really well.
I'm just wondering, did we get away with it? You know what I mean? Because it's, I mean, she has the packet, I just wonder if she knows. So Donna, when you're listening later,
I'm busy listening to Joan Baez right now. All right, thank you. That takes us to the, this is the one about the ASBA bylaw change, item 10B. And I think that maybe is this something that's you, Carl?
these are the bylaws that we've shared before, right, Hilda? And you guys have vetted these and you were in agreement with them fundamentally. And yeah, we just have to, what we were doing is move that the governing board give direction to whom to vote for the matter.
Because all of you guys will receive a link, but we can only submit one vote, so you guys have to decide who's going to
Submit the vote.
submit the vote.
We just need a name.
It has to be by December 5th.
Yeah, but it would be an electronic vote, only one board member.
Electronic.
Well, you guys want to see the link, but only one can vote for the district, so that's who you guys have to do. In the past, the link was sent to me, and then based on your direction, I would vote for you, but this year they're doing it different, and they're going to send it out to you, but only one.
Well, may I ask if Mr. Zaragoza, if you would be willing to, just because I feel like you are the one who is, who's up to date on everything that's ASBA. I'll be happy to do it, but I'm just to keep consistency, would you be willing to?
Per the direction of the board, happy to submit our vote.
Okay. So then is there a motion?
I'd actually like to go over them because they did talk about them at the meeting a week ago Monday. So I'm opening it up right now to make sure it's the same one I have in my hand. Okay, they took off E and F. So yes, let's go ahead.
Good check, thank you.
All right, is there a motion now?
I move that we approve the, I don't have it in front of me.
I move that the governing board give direction to Carl Zaragoza to vote in the manner the bond the board has approved in regards to the proposed ASBA bylaw changes.
Voting on changes.
As presented, as you just read.
There's a motion. Is there a second? I'll go ahead and second it. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. All right, and that brings us to future agenda items. Anybody want to push things up, move things around?
Seeing none, I move to adjourn.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.